Hey guys, good morning. I'm ready for my Sunday, Easter Sunday, good morning run. Haven't been running in 2.5 weeks because I was feeling a little sick, a little down, but now I'm back to 100% power and the weather is just amazing. So trying to run for as long as possible. That was a big mistake. I tried to run my normal time, no chance. I mean, my legs have enough power for like twice as much, but it's really warm, like 22 degrees and up, and my lungs can't just handle pumping enough oxygen into my body. But anyways, since it's like staying at home time, the virus is still outside, we'll probably just stay at home, eat, PlayStation, and most importantly, first of all, a nice cold shower.
Can't help but take it farther. I'm breathing underwater.
So I think it's time again for another Q&A since today is just at home. It starts really to suck, this quarantine kind of time, but let's try and make the best of it. Is there a possibility, a way to create music using only free and open source software? Yes, 100%. I think there are some DAWs for free, GarageBand, which is just like half a DAW, but I think there are some full DAWs for free, and every single plugin, there is a version that does basically something very similar for free. Pretty sure you can make a huge hit with just free software. That shouldn't be a problem at all. How do you get your vocals? Splice or a vocalist? Always, always, always a vocalist. Splice vocals are nice for training. Splice vocals are nice for like chopping up stuff and rearranging it, but just using a splice vocal straight as it is and build a track underneath is very amateur, and you have the problem that other people will use the same vocal. No label will be really interested in releasing it, and then you got a lot of copyright issues. Just like, yes for training, yes for releasing it on SoundCloud, yes to maybe send out your first demo to a label, but once you make money with music, invest the money in proper vocals. This is unrelated to music, but when do you think the pandemic will disappear? Again, I'm not an expert. My personal opinion, in Germany, I'd say at least until the end of the year, we still will have restrictions to have like no effects at all anymore worldwide. 3 years. And if we were speaking of the economic effects, back to normal worldwide, 5 years. Like until all travel is not restricted anymore. Unless someone comes up with a vaccine fast, then all of this might be cut in half. But yeah, we're still facing a lot of shit. How do you like ambient tracks like Aphex Twin, and would you ever consider producing ambient? I actually have produced some ambient stuff before because a friend of my parents wanted some music for his website like years and years and years ago, where I didn't even make a single cent with music. So I made a couple of ambient stuff for him, but I'm not really into that sound. Like, I like it, I like listening to it, I sometimes like creating it, but I don't know, it feels for me too much like fiddling around and making something where I don't know where to go, and like there's no straight up vision that I have in mind and I try to aim for. It's just like playing around. So every once in a while in between, it's like good for creative purposes, but it's just not my thing. Do you use Faceplant? Yes, 100%. Faceplant is amazing. It's like serum on steroids. It's like probably the best, all in all, everything in it synthesizer you can get at the moment. If you're interested, I'll link it down below. How to make the mix sound louder? This is the basic problem of the music producers. So for making your tracks louder, you have to understand that the space in a song is limited, and the more stuff you pack into a song, the less loud you can make it, especially heavy elements, bass and kick. So if you want to make your song louder, you have to sacrifice kick and bass a little. So The beginner mistake number one is too much kick, too much bass, and then trying to make it loud, and you can't get it loud enough. So reduced kick and bass in general helps to make it louder. And loudness, don't worry too much about it. As a producer, you should worry first about a good musical idea, good vocals if you have vocals, a good lead synthesizer if you have one, a good solid arrangement, then a really good mix, and then just send it off to mastering. Don't worry about loudness. Does a track need to be mastered when you send it to a label? No, it doesn't need to be mastered. Just get it a little up in loudness. Just put a limiter on top and just like get it to -10 dB RMS. How to become a professional in DJing? How many years? Whew. Back in the days with vinyl, at least like 2 years, full dedication, every day, training. Nowadays, with like new syncing abilities and BPM and stuff like that, 10 hours, and you're technically good enough to play at a birthday festival or whatever. It won't be anything fancy, but at least solid enough to get through the night. It's about the sound selection, and that again is about experience and playing a lot in front of people, testing the songs, knowing which songs, how the crowd reacts to them, in which kind of circumstances, which kind of time, is it the beginning, the end, and this kind of stuff. So it's more about the marketing, to be honest, nowadays. It's more about getting the gig than actually being technically good enough to play the gig. So your question should be more how to be an Instagram pro to get DJ gigs, basically. Is Fruity Loop Studio mobile a good DAW to start as a young producer? I honestly don't know. I didn't even know they have like a mobile version. Like I would suggest just get a regular DAW, because then you don't have to switch if you think about doing it professionally. But like those mobile versions might give you a first hint how music production is actually made, but you should switch within the first week to a proper DAW. Do you think it will be easier to get a first-time gig after lockdown? No. A lot harder, because everyone's sitting at home, everyone wants to DJ, everyone wants to party. And I also think the lockdown will be like slowly fading, and clubs being opened again will be last. So there will be an overcrowded market with a lot of DJs that haven't DJed in a while. So getting gigs, good luck. For beginners with no money to spend, how can we market our music? It's not your task actually as a music producer, as a musician, to market your music. So if you don't have the money, the best way would be to just make something really good, send it to a label, and then they take care of it. Usually this will be the harder way, because you have to pass the barrier of someone else liking your music enough to release it, but then they will invest in you, in your future and your music. If you don't have money releasing it yourself, you can still just put it up there and be lucky. Maybe 1 out of 10 tracks on Spotify gets placed into a playlist, and then this will help you to gain your first fans. Just be active, even if you don't have the money. Do your social media, make a lot of music, get in contact with the right people, and then slowly from there build up. Because eventually you will make a little bit of money, then invest it again, you will make more, and just go up. Someone asking for reverb tips. Should everything be in its own room or multiple elements in the same room? This really depends again. I personally have one room for short drum stuff like hi-hats. I have one for the snare and clap. I have one for main synthesizers. I have 1 or 2 for vocals. I have one for effects, and then I have one really big, really long reverb to slap on things as like a transition effect kind of sound. So at least 5 to 10 on any kind of song. Is there a part of the production process that you don't like? Let me put it this way. I love like the earlier I am in a song, like the beginning of it, the more I like it. Like the first hour making a song is the most enjoyable, because it's like being fully creative, melodies, picking sounds, and then you proceed to like EQing, mixing, effects, which is less creative and more technical. And then the mixing stage is very, very technical. And then like the very fine details, extremely technical. And then you repeat a lot and like in cycles and do things again and again and again. That part, I don't like that much, but I still love it. I still love the entire process, but I love it less than the beginning, but I still prefer it to anything else on this planet. And then the one split second where you know the song is finished and you still don't have to worry about marketing and finding a label, that 1 second where it's all done and you listen for the very first time to the fully produced song that you've worked on countless hours. That's the best. By far the best. Kashmir's new plugin, ? I already made a full review and it's a mixed review. If you're interested, I'll link it down below or just go back a couple of videos. It's too expensive for what you get. Honestly, if there wasn't his name on it, no one would talk about this plugin. Like, it's not really special and way overpriced. Did you celebrate Passover? Yes, we did, via Skype with my parents. And do you know how to read Hebrew? Yeah. If there are dots, yes. No dots, not really. Good plugin for pet sounds. I'd go, I mean, it's a little expensive, but for everything atmospheric, and also everything else, Omnisphere. Omnisphere is so good. It's very expensive. It takes a lot of hard drive space away from you. But I'd say it's one of the best. I think like Serum, Omnisphere, Diva, and you got everything covered. Those three. Take everything away from me, those three I need. So yeah, that basically concludes today's Q&A. If you have any more questions, just leave them in the comments. Don't forget to check out some plugins linked down below in the comments. If you want to participate in the giveaways, it's also linked down below. And we'll see us tomorrow back again in the studio, very likely. It's Easter Monday, but I don't care. I want to make music.